Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Aranya Bhattacharjee from the School of Physical Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Today we are going to discuss about Van Vleck and Pauli paramagnetism. They are two different, Van Vleck and Pauli. Okay, so two different types of paramagnetism we will discuss from the paper Solid State Physics. So students, let us see what we are going to learn in this module today. First, we will learn about the Van Vleck paramagnetism. Secondly, we will understand the concepts of the Pauli paramagnetism. At the same time, we will also calculate the ground state energy shift and magnetization for the J equal to 0 case. And finally, we will understand the role of conduction electrons in paramagnetic behavior of metals. So students, in the previous module, we had discussed the case of paramagnetism for J not equal to 0 case, and also for J equal to 0 case paramagnetism appears as the second order effect, okay, the second order perturbation effect. So this particular case refers to ions where partially filled shell is one electron short of being half filled. That this particular case refers to ions where partially filled shell is one electron short of being half filled. In this module, we will discuss the J equal to 0 case, and also the J equal to 0 is also a completely filled shell for which L and S are both independently 0. So you see that it is not necessary that J will be equal to 0 always, but J equal to 0 can also happen for a completely filled shell for which L and S are both independently 0, which is very important point. So you can have J equal to 0 when L and S, they add up, but they subtract, like, so when they subtract, they become 0. But there is another case where L equal to 0, S equal to 0, sum of the two zeros is also equal to 0, J equal to 0. That also case is there. We now begin our discussion on Van Vleck paramagnetism. So as before, in the case earlier we had discussed, we first write down the ground state energy shift due to the magnetic field. So as you can see from here, it contains essentially two important terms. This is again with respect to the second order perturbation theory, and it essentially contains two terms which, as you can see, and both these terms depends upon the magnetic field. The corresponding magnetic susceptibility for n ions per unit volume is written like this, where we take the help of the ground state energy shift expression, because susceptibility is equal to minus mu naught n into the double partial derivative of delta E naught with respect to the applied magnetic field BA. So we differentiate it twice partially, and this is the resulting expression that you get. Simple expression, though of course, like, it might seem that it contains a lot of terms, but in certain limits, of course, one can actually try to find a simpler expressions also. Okay students, the Van Vleck paramagnetism, in this case the paramagnetism is very weak and it only appears as a second order contribution. Okay, weak paramagnetism and appears only as a second order contribution. Now the first term in the magnetic susceptibility equation is the usual weak Langevin diamagnetic susceptibility, and on the other hand the second term is the magnetic susceptibility equation is the contribution to paramagnetism that we are going to discuss in two limiting cases when Kt is much less than En minus E naught, and kT is much more than En minus E naught. So, continuing with this Van Vleck paramagnetism, there are two possibilities that we explore. The first one is that the temperature kBT is more than En minus E naught. The surplus population in the ground state over the excited state is approximately equal to N into En minus E naught divided by 2 kBT. Now, the resultant magnetization that is in these circumstances is equal to M is equal to NB into BA, that is the applied magnetic field, nu B square divided by kBT, and the summation over N mod of this expression that you see here square. And similarly, in this limit, the resultant susceptibility is given by this following expression. So, you see here that in the limit of high temperature, you get a simplified expression here. So, students, the above contribution is of the Curie form. Although the mechanism of magnetization is by polarization of the states of the system and not by redistribution of ions among the spin states. Chi does not depend on En minus E naught. Now, we consider here the second case where kBT is less than En minus E naught. Now, in this case, since the temperature is very less, all ions lie in the ground state in thermal equilibrium. Almost all the ions lie in the ground state. The probability of being excited to the higher states is very small. Expressions below are independent of temperature, and this kind of paramagnetism is referred to as the Van Vleck paramagnetism. So, the expressions, the resultant expression for the magnetization susceptibility is written like this as shown here in this slide, and as you can see from here that it is completely independent of the temperature. This temperature is not appearing anywhere. And compare these two results like magnetization and susceptibility for this low temperature with the high temperature. It would be very interesting. I mean, just try to compare and you will see the difference. Okay, so now a very important concept about conduction electrons. So, conduction electrons, due to their angular momentum, produce diamagnetism, and they also produce temperature independent paramagnetism called Pauli paramagnetism. So, you see conduction electrons in metals, their importance, that they contribute to two types of magnetism, dia and para, but specifically for para it is called Pauli paramagnetism, and that is temperature independent. The response of the orbital motion to magnetic field complicates the matter further, and we assume that the electron has a spin magnetic moment but no charge. In this oversimplified assumption, the response of the orbital motion is completely ignored. In the presence of an external magnetic field, each conduction electron of the metal with its spin parallel to the field contributes a magnetic moment minus G naught into mu B divided by 2, while electron with anti-parallel spin contributes plus G naught into mu B divided by 2 to the magnetic moment of the system of conduction electrons. So, having given a brief introduction about this paramagnetism, we write this expression for the magnetization M is equal to minus half G naught mu B into N plus minus N minus. So, let us try to understand this expression. Here you see that n plus or n minus is the number of electrons per unit volume with spin parallel or antiparallel with respect to the external magnetic induction BA. The state of the electrons with spin parallel to BA have higher energy, and on the other hand the state of electrons with spin antiparallel to BA have lower energy with respect to the state with zero magnetic field. And remember that this G naught is equal to 2 for the electrons. This is basically, it's 2 mainly because it's nearly free electron approximation that we are using. So again, I mean, like, just let me tell you this, that state of the electrons, remember, very important, is with spin parallel to the external magnetic induction have higher energy. On the other hand, with electrons with antiparallel that to BA, which is the external magnetic induction, has lower energy with respect to the state with zero magnetic field. So the energy parabola splits into two, separated by a value of 2 nu B BA, which is basically we will be showing in the next slide. So in the case of polyparamagnetism, here we are shown a figure here. So this is basically a relative shift energy parabola referred to parallel and antiparallel spin states of conduction electrons in a magnetic field. The black arrows are represents excess uncompressed electron spins parallel to the magnetic field that account for the net magnetic moment. So as you can see from here that this is basically, you know, like energy versus the density of states, and the left hand side of the figure, it is basically telling you the magnetic moments anti-parallel to the magnetic field BA, and magnetic moments parallel to BA on the right hand side, which is spins are anti-parallel. Okay, and also shown here is the Fermi level, and this black part, you know, like this black portion is the excess uncompensated electron spins parallel to B naught, amounting for the net magnetic moment. So there's lot of things actually that one can learn from this figure. So the energy parabola splits into two. You know, clearly you get to see two splits, and the two parabolas actually, one of which is on the left hand side and the right hand side, is separated by 2 mu B BA. Okay, the lower portion, you see the lower portion, you will see that this split is there, and well, I mean, like the d epsilon is the density of levels in the absence of field. Then this d plus minus, as you can see, I mean, basically the d plus minus, we refer to these as the uh, parallel and anti-parallel. So they will be basically roughly half of the DE. So what just briefly I had told you in the previous slide, I elaborate more. So D plus or D minus is the density of levels at energy epsilon for the electrons which spin parallel or anti-parallel to the field. And we also say that the density of levels in the absence of the field is D epsilon. So in the case of parallel spin, number of levels with energy epsilon in the presence of the field is the same as with epsilon minus mu B into BA in the absence of the field. So this is basically illustrated on the right hand side here in this block. In the case of anti-parallel spin, number of levels with energy epsilon in the presence of the field is the same as with epsilon plus mu B into BA in the absence of the field, again which is illustrated on the right hand side. So here you have got now three things: density of levels for spins parallel, anti-parallel, and also density of levels in the absence of the field. Now continuing further, we also have some important expressions here. N plus minus is equal to the integration of d plus minus into f, where f is the Fermi-Dirac distribution. Now what is n plus and n minus? N plus is the electron density for electrons with parallel spins, and one with n minus is for the anti-parallel spins. Total electron density is n, which is n plus n minus. Considering extremely low temperatures, which is much lower than 10 raised to power 4 K, taking the applied magnetic field as 1 Tesla, nu B into BA is much less than the Fermi energy, epsilon F. And we can use a Taylor series expansion by solving the above equation for n plus minus. You get this following expression, that is n plus minus is equal to half, integrating from 0 to the Fermi level d epsilon plus minus half of nu B into BA d epsilon F. So, this is basically, you see the difference, that the first part contains only d epsilon where you are integrating from 0 to epsilon F, but on the second part of this expression you solely have this expression d epsilon F, that is the density distribution that you have at the density of levels in the Fermi level, and the total magnetization M is equal to mu B into n plus minus n minus. Now, on simplifying the expression that we have got earlier, the magnetization can be written like this, as M is equal to 3 n mu B square into BA divided by 2 kB Tf, where Tf is the Fermi temperature, and the density of states would be 3 n divided by 2 kB Tf, and the susceptibility is 3 mu B mu naught square into n divided by 2 kB Tf. In addition to Pauli, there is a diamagnetic contribution from the conduction electron also. This is also, a point that has to be taken into account. So, now we know that in addition to the Pauli paramagnetism, there is a diamagnetic contribution from the conduction electrons also. We assume that the orbital motion of the electrons is not affected by the magnetic field. However, the wave function are modified by the magnetic field, and Landau showed that for free electrons, the susceptibility, which is chi Landau, is equal to minus 1/3 of chi Pauli. Thus, the total magnetization of a free electron gas is M, which is equal to n mu B square Bs square divided by kB Tf. So, what we show here is a comparative plot of various forms of para and diamagnetism. So, susceptibility versus the temperature. Here we see here the first, the Longenevois paramagnetism is a classical way of calculating it, and then we get a Van Vleck paramagnetism also shown, Pauli paramagnetism, Landau paramagnetism, and Lamar's paramagnetism. A comparative view of various forms of paramagnetism and diamagnetism versus chi versus the temperature plot. So, students, finally in this module, what we have studied, for J equal to 0, paramagnetism is weak and appears as a second order contribution to the ground state energy shift. The Van Vleck paramagnetism is independent of temperature. Conduction electrons in metals produce temperature independent paramagnetism called the Pauli paramagnetism. Thank you, students. Thanks for visiting ePathshala.